Lord, I just want to lift this, my brother, up to you, and Father, Lord, thank you so much for him. And I thank you for the gift that you have given of opening up your word to us. So I just pray, Father God, now that you really love him, just rest upon him, and that every word that he is spoken, Lord God, that he gives it just go out to us now. So we just thank you, because you said nothing that comes from you. So I just pray, Father God, that we will receive much from you. We will be blessing to you from what we receive from you.
As well as caring for his patients, a country GP was well known for his love of fishing. And it was while he was on a fishing trip that he had a call that a woman in the neighbouring farm was about to give birth. So he rushed to her aid and delivered a healthy baby boy. Now the farmer had nothing to weigh the baby, so the doctor used his fishing scales. And the baby weighed in at 37 pounds and 10 ounces. I said no one would get that joke. That's a good start. I'll sit down now, shall I? We're going to look at a bit of a fishy story this morning, where the good doctor's weighing scales might not have needed to be quite so inaccurate. It's one of the most well-known stories in the Old Testament, and it comes from the book of Jonah. And of course there are a myriad of illustrated Sunday school material that relate to the tale of Jonah and the whale. But there's more to the story than just a very large fish that swallows a man. So we'll skate through the story of Jonah, hopefully in about 3 minutes. The story is set in about 800 BC, or thereabouts. And it starts off with, now the word of the Lord came to Jonah the prophet, saying, go to Nineveh and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me. Now this ancient city of Nineveh was located to what is now the modern city of Mosul in northern Iraq. And it was the capital of the hated Assyrian Empire, known for its cruelty and its war atrocities. And Jonah did a John McEnroe, saying, God, you cannot be serious. And Jonah headed off in the opposite direction and boarded a boat bound for what we believe to be Spain. God took a fairly dim view of being turned down in that way, and he sent a great storm which threatened to engulf the ship. Well, when he was questioned by the pagan crew, Jonah fesses up that it is actually all his fault, and he offered to be thrown overboard to save the ship and the crew. Now, to the crew's great credit, they did their best to get them and Jonah to safety, but God was having none of it, and the storm grew even worse. Eventually, they gave in to the inevitable, and very reluctantly tossed Jonah over the side, and the storm immediately abated. In awe of the power of God of Israel, the pagan crew offered sacrifices and worship to God. And it's a bit of an ironic twist, isn't it, that Jonah had unwittingly turned pagan men to God, whilst he had been running away from that same true God. And so to the part of the story that everybody knows about. Now the Lord provided a huge fish to swallow Jonah, and he was in the fish 3 days and nights. You will notice that the great fish, or whale if you like, wasn't just passing by and saw Jonah as lunch. It was God who arranged it. Whilst inside, Jonah didn't just admire the internals, the fish, he prayed to God. He recognised that he'd been saved from a watery grave, and with thanksgiving praised God for his salvation. But God then commanded the fish to vomit, Sorry about that, but it's not actually my story. It's what it says in the book. The fish vomited Jonah onto dry land. And God speaks once again to Jonah. And at the second time of asking Jonah, very begrudgingly trudges off to the great city of Nineveh. Presumably he didn't fancy another 3 days inside a whale. And once there, he delivered what must be the shortest sermon with the greatest impact in human history. 40 days and the city will be overthrown. That's it. No carefully planned evangelical outreach events with follow-up alpha courses. Although there's nothing wrong with those things. You've got 40 days to turn it around or you are toast. And the reaction was extraordinary. Not even Peter or Paul or even Jesus himself had such incredible results. The people of Nineveh believed God, and everyone, absolutely everyone, including the king himself, put on sackcloth and sat in the dust as a sign of repentance, and they fasted. And it says, when God saw how they turned from their evil ways, he relented and did not bring about the destruction he had threatened. And you might have thought that Jonah would have been absolutely over the moon, that he played a small part in saving 120,000 people from destruction. But no, he railed against God. He was shaking his fist and shouting, "See, I knew this what would happen. That's why I didn't want to come here. This evil lot doesn't deserve God's mercy. I just want to die." And God said, "Is it right for you to speak angry?" Well, Jonah was now in a major strop, and he sat down somewhere to the east of the city. God provided a leafy plant to shade him in the sun. But then the next morning he provided a worm, so that the plant withered and died. Cue another rank from Jonah. And God said, "Is it right for you to speak angry?" So what are we to make of this extraordinary account of the prophet Jonah? Scholars have argued down the centuries whether the account is an allegory, it's a metaphor, a sort of literary device to explain a broader message. Some have suggested it's perhaps a type of parable. That seems fairly unlikely given the length and the detail and the historical context. While others view it as an historical and literal account. Many focus on the account of the 3 days in the great fish. Now, I've just returned from a diving holiday, and as a diver, one of the most important bits of kit I have is the cylinder pressure gauge. 0 reading means 0 air, means end of dive, means end off. So let's face it, 3 days inside a fish is impossible. But then the parting of the Red Sea was impossible. Elijah raising the widow's son was impossible. The 3 men saved from the burning in the fiery furnace was impossible. The raising of Lazarus was impossible. The resurrection of Jesus was impossible. We could quote dozens and dozens of biblical events that were impossible. But then maybe it shouldn't be such a surprise. So why can't an all-powerful creator God make the impossible possible? So when the Pharisees demanded a sign from Jesus, his reply was this: "A wicked and adulterous generation asks for a sign, but none will be given except the sign of the prophet Jonah. For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of a huge fish, so the Son of Man will be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth." It's very interesting, isn't it, how Jesus links Jonah's 3 days in the fish with his own 3 days in the tomb. But then that's a whole new sermon for another day. So Jesus himself vouches for the account. But let me say this, it's not all about the fish. It's all about God. It's about God intervening directly in history. And it's about the reaction and response of a believer, a man of God, a prophet, no less, asked to do the will of God. So God communicated with Jonah. We don't quite know how, whether he spoke to him or through a dream, and he instructed him to go to Nineveh. But Joseph went in the completely opposite direction. He was running away from God. The very concept of running away from an omnipresent God is pretty ludicrous, but he ran away anyway. So why did he do that? It was unprecedented that a prophet would rebel in such a way. Sure enough, even great figures such as Moses and Jeremiah were very reluctant to begin with, but they would eventually fulfill God's calling. I think Jonah was perhaps unique amongst Old Testament figures, and not in a good way. Perhaps Jonah considered that God was the God of Israel. It wasn't possible that God could care for those outside of the Jewish nation. He was their God, not everybody else's. And especially the Assyrians, who were, after all, the enemy. They didn't deserve anything other than God's wrath. Perhaps Jonah ran away out of fear. Maybe the fear of the reaction he would get entering into the capital of the enemy. Fear of the response of the damning message he was asked to deliver. Fear of going outside what we now like to call our comfort zone. Jonah was probably perfectly happy serving God in the familiar surroundings of Israel, amongst people just like him, who talked like him, who dressed like him, who thought like him. They were all part of the same club. Jonah tried to hide from God, perhaps in the same way that Adam and Eve tried to hide from God in the garden. When Cain killed his brother Abel, he ran away from the presence of God. You might have thought that God would have given up on Jonah. Jonah is a dead loss, a complete failure. I'll send someone else to do the job. But God goes to extraordinary lengths to get Jonah back on board. He sends the storm. He sends the whale. He invites Jonah once again to deliver the message. He sends a leafy plant. He sends the worm to drive home the message about his providence, his grace, and his mercy. Even right at the very end of the story, Jonah strikes a desperately sad figure. He's still angry at God. He's still shaking his fist at God, still unable to accept his grace and mercy to those who would respond. He's still full of self-pity, despite everything that God has done to demonstrate his love. Some 800 years later, the scribes and Pharisees who heard the message from Jesus would have the same hardness of heart and show the same unwillingness to begin to understand the depth and the breadth of God's love. So what is this strange and extraordinary story from almost 3,000 years ago have to say to us today in the here and now? We call ourselves Christians, and as Christians we are disciples of Jesus. But discipleship demands obedience, and that's where things start to get a little bit difficult. This series of sermons is all about God opening doors. And on the face of it, opening doors sounds all very exciting. There's new opportunities, new challenges, great buzzwords for the bright-eyed contestants in The Apprentice. But in reality, for most of us, it's all a little bit disturbing. An open door might lead somewhere where we don't really want to go. It might lead us to share the message of God's love with people who are not quite like us. They might not look like us. They might not talk like us, or dress like us, or think like us. They're not in the same club. Does that sound a little bit familiar? The open door might invite us to do something that we feel unqualified to do. We're not really equipped to do it. It's not really our gifting. There are always others that are smarter, more knowledgeable, more talented. And while it's true that we've been blessed with individual God-given gifts, the church has always flourished and grown with people stepping out and taking on roles that they might have felt very dubious about. Very dubious about being up to it. So when God invites us to be part of his wider plan, perhaps sometimes way beyond what we can imagine, how will we respond? Will we respond like Jonah and run away? We needn't run away to sea. We can run away by pouring all our energies into something else, into our work, into our family, into our interests, anything but doing the work of God. Or will we pluck up courage? Will we have a glimmer of faith to have confidence in the grace and mercy of God? To have confidence in the empowering of the Holy Spirit to equip us for things that we might have thought were impossible. And then we might delight to be invited to be maybe a very small, but a very life-changing part